Welcome back, this is Goku Sun DBZ, and welcome back for video game news. First up, let's get out of the way the box office, then mention specific. I want to mention quickly some of the Oscars, my thoughts on, and then we'll get to specific gaming news. So with that said, first up, box office for the weekend. Coming in 5th place, Jumanji, which made an additional 5,530,000. Dropped 7.8% from last weekend, which is not a big drop at all. Worldwide, 768,460,000. Next up, we have coming at number 4, Doolittle, making an additional 6,660,000. Dropped 12.3%. Then we have 1917, made an additional $9 million, dropped only 5.2%. Worldwide box office, while Doolittle made 158 million worldwide so far to date, 1917, 287,342,000. Coming at the number 2 slot, Bad Boys 2 made another 12,005,000, dropping 32.1%. Worldwide box office now sits at 336,327,000. And coming at number 1, opening weekend, Birds of Prey, not doing too well overall. Opening weekend box office, Birds of Prey did 33,250,000. Worldwide opening weekend, it did 81,250,000. So not the greatest, to say the least. Just a few Oscar winners, just the ones that I actually was paying any attention to, in all honesty, the main ones. First up, we have, of the ones I was keeping track of, Best Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt, of course, for Ford v Ferrari. Not surprised, I expected him, honestly, to win, because that's a really good film. And he did an excellent job. Best Actress went to Renee Zellweger for, I believe the movie was Judy. Best Original Score went to, and I'm happy who won, and that being Joker. Won for Best Original Score. Glad on that, because the score in Joker is superb. Also, Best Animated Film went to Toy Story 4, though I felt that Frozen 2 should have been at least nominated. Not to mention, in my opinion, should have won. But it didn't even get nominated, so yeah, with it out, I'm not surprised Toy Story 4 won. Though I didn't like 4 as much as a lot of people did, but whatever. Also, quickly mention, Best Adapted Screenplay, which I'm happy about, who won, and that went to Taika Waititi, and of course Jojo Rabbit, which actually ended up, after rewatching them recently again, I'd say Jojo Rabbit is my second, ended up pretty much neck and neck for second favorite film of last year. But with that said, Best Picture went to Parasite. It's the first ever non-American film to actually win the Best Picture at the Oscars in history. In fact, fun fact, Parasite won 4 awards, and very deserving, to be fair. And it's awesome, and of course it was a South Korean done, actually, horror film. But seriously, if you ever get a chance to check out Parasite, I recommend it. I just last week checked it out finally, and I wanted Joker to win Best Picture, but I'm fine with it winning Best Picture, in all honesty, because Parasite is a really good quality done film, and I'm glad for him, not to mention making history. The top one, of course, I was paying attention to was Best Actor, and who I wanted to get it did. And of course, that being Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. So with that said, let's get on to the bigger news, shall we? Okay, first off, the main gaming news I'm going to talk about is, of course, this past week, the official announced lineup for the main stage of course, EVO 2020. Which, of course, if there's anybody watching this show and doesn't know what EVO is, apparently you don't care much about fighting games. EVO is basically the Super Bowl, I guess you could say, of like fighting games. And for fighting game fans alike. Of the 9 games this year, of course, the ones who announced it for the lineup kind of messed with people like for the last, but first mentioned, of course, making it back for its second year. No surprise, I think, to anyone, in all honesty. Of course, that being obviously the film known as Super Smash Ultimate. Shouldn't be any surprise that it was basically the first announced. Second game, the next one to be announced, of course, which really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, I guess, was the fact that they announced, of course, returning again for its third year now, Tekken 7, which has actually been doing really solid and really good at EVO. Of game tournaments, I would say 2018, Tekken 7's finalist, Final 8, was probably my favorite tournament. Last year, my favorite Final 8 was probably, I'm not sure. Last year was, for me personally, of the main stage, was probably Soul Calibur 6, in all honesty. But with that said, no surprise, still Tekken 7 made it. Next up, we have, of course, the announcement of the return from Arc System Works along with Bandai Namco for its third year now on the main stage, Dragon Ball FighterZ. So, I'm definitely not surprised at all on that. And, of course, we have the announcement, by the way, of new DLC character and an announcement for Season 3 DLC. The first official announcement was, of course, Ultra Instinct Goku. Boy, just what we need. A 5th Goku in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Boy. If it was enough, we have Base Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan God Goku. Oh wait, no, actually make that 6 Gokus. I forgot. You also have Kid Goku. You have also, of course, now Ultra Instinct Goku. And, of course, you have Goku Black. Boy, just what you need in another version. Oh boy, next thing you know, they're going to announce probably Ultra Instinct Vegeta. And just watch, that will probably end up happening. Knowing our luck. But, coming the 4th of games, of course, mentioned. So far, we've had, of course, Dragon Ball FighterZ, no surprise. Tekken 7, no surprise. That's not bad, doing good of the Tekken series. This is doing the best so far, EVO, performance-wise. So good job, Harada. Also, of course, we had the announcement of Smash Ultimate, no surprise. And, of course, next we have the Champion Edition of Street Fighter V. No surprise, Street Fighter is the backbone of EVO. I'm not even sure if there's been a single year EVO has not had a Street Fighter game. And Street Fighter's been really successful and really big with the esports community, more so than other Street Fighter games, surprisingly. But still not a big surprise, in all honesty, for game number 4. Game number 5 may not be the exact word the way they announced, but game number 5 is a newcomer, of course, with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is, of course, a new Arc System Works game. I love the animation style of it. I'm actually looking forward to trying it out in March when it gets its American release, because I'm not going to do what Maximilian did and play the Japanese version. I'm going to wait. Plus, not to mention, trying to buy the Japanese version on eBay is insanely expensive right now. It's like $80 and $90. So the scalpers have bought up all the copies basically to sell to Americans who are impatient. So I'm just going to be patient and save money. But, no surprise, a new anime fighter, so there you go. You got that unique new anime fighter, you got Dragon Ball FighterZ, that makes 2 anime fighters. And the third anime fighter, of course, is surprisingly the announcement of the return for its 2nd year in a row. It's about bloody time. I'm happy to say that Under Night in Birth has returned for a second year at EVO, and I'm glad, honestly, because Under Night in Birth is a criminally underrated game. It is my personal favorite anime fighter, pure and simple. It definitely deserves more respect than it gets, and I'm glad it's finally starting to get some recognition. Plus, of course, we have a new version of the Under Night in Birth update coming out this year. In fact, in the next couple months, coming out for the PS4. And fun fact, it's also getting a Nintendo Switch release, which I'm probably first going to pick up the Switch version and later on get the PS4 version. I've got the last version that came out on PS4. So yeah, Switch will be the first version of the new Under Night in Birth I get. So I'm looking forward to playing your Eunice again. So with that said, so now we have 3 anime fires. That's good news. Then, of course, we get the announcement of the fact that the Soul Still Burns. And I was really thrilled to hear that Soul Calibur 6 is returning for a second EVO. And that is awesome news, because I love Soul Calibur 6. Honestly, I enjoy creating characters in the game, obviously, because I've probably spent way more hours than I'm willing to admit on character creation. You've seen with my Soul Calibur 6 tournament I've did, a bunch of the creations and stuff I've done. I've spent hundreds of hours in the game. Yeah, as I said, way more than I'm really truly want to admit I've spent on character creation, especially some of the Final Fantasy characters I've enjoyed making. But with that said, also, a quick announcement, we, of course, had the announcement after Soul Calibur 6, so it's looking good for Bandai. Dragon Ball FighterZ, which they did with Arc System. Of course, you had the announcement of also Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur, so Bandai has 3 spots on the 9 list. That's pretty impressive for one company to hold a third of the spots. But, of course, unfortunately, some things got cut from the list, and sorry, MK11. At least MK11 will probably still get a decent side tournament, and MK11's tournament last year wasn't the greatest, still not bad, but personally, I hope at least we get a decent side tournament this year for Dragon Ball Fighter, or not Dragon Ball Fighters, but for, Battle for the Grid, Power Rangers. I would love that to actually get to be on the main stage of EVO, though it won't, which sucks. But hopefully we get a decent side tournament for it, and please give us another MVCI side tournament, because that was actually really good. Speaking of course, the biggest announcement was the final game for EVO, the 9th and final fighting game, which was announced. But before that rundown, we had announced Dragon Ball FighterZ, Soul Calibur 6, Tekken 7, Grand Blue Cross Tag, or Grand Blue whatever, Fantasy Versus, Eunice. We also had, of course, a bunch of others, needless to say. But I think one of the biggest deals was the big and final, of course, tournament announcement. And that is, of course, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for its 20th anniversary, which makes me feel old. Knowing that I've been playing the game for 2 decades blows my mind. And that's why I chose the music in the background for Marvel 3, or Marvel 2. And it's Marvel, baby! This year is Year of Marvel 2. Finally, again, I'm looking forward, especially with 4 former champions that are going to be in the tournament, and then they'll have to make evaluation side tournament probably in order to fill up the other 4 spots of the 8 slots. And of course, we know for a fact a certain Justin will be, of course, returning since he's a former champion, no surprise. And if you don't follow Justin, definitely do so. He's an amazing fighting game player. Heck, he's higher, I would say, overall caliber. He's higher definitely than Maximilian. Max is really good, but he's no Justin, that's for sure. But with that said, I'll get ready to cut this video. What's your opinions on the tournament, and what was your thought the fact that MK11 got snubbed from the tournament this year? Curious to hear what you all have to say about the announcement and the lineup at EVO 2020. But like I said, Marvel 2, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Soul Calibur 6, Unist, Street Fighter 5, and of course, obviously, also many others. But I'll be curious to see how big, all in all, see which ends up the biggest tournament. Obviously, probably the biggest is going to end up being a certain game by the name of Smash Ultimate. Though I'm crossing my fingers for Marvel 2 to do the best numbers overall. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.